All
Mark,
right,
are you ready?
I'm ready. You
Well,
seem to be ready. I'm ready.
I am ready. I am so excited to have you on. Boss is my amazing executive interview series on LinkedIn. I interview my fabulous executive network to help others learn, network, and pay it forward in this crazy new normal that is 2020.
I am a born and bred Brooklynite, Bushwick, Brooklyn, old school. I am the youngest of six, and I'm a husband, a father, a brother, and more importantly, I think I'm a creative marketeer. And in that, I mean, I bring a lot of vision and empathy to what I do. But when I look at my leadership purpose, it really comes down to the fact that I exist to inspire others to do great things and to chase their dreams. Real simple.
It was Land's dinner party, right? So
Yes. Yeah. Wow, what a great night that was.
tell me more, kind of taking it back.
It's about focus. And I've been focused on what I wanted to do in the world of marketing and advertising for most of my career. Matter of fact, most of my undergraduate career. And I went in undergraduate school thinking I was going into the law or accounting. I took a marketing course after my first semester, never looked back. I realized that this is what I wanted to do. I became a 4A's fellow. And as a result of that, my career in both advertising and ultimately marketing, was launched. I think it really comes down to determination, the ability to be really, really determined to get what you want and do what you want, but you've got to be singularly focused in your swim lane and make sure that you do all the things and fill all the gaps needed to make sure that you have an opportunity. You got to be prepared. And I've had great timing. And I've also been fortunate enough to, good, bad, or indifferent, attract really, really, really great people around me. I have done everything from literally from product placement in film, from concert production, talent negotiations, then ultimately running an agency, founding a consultancy, going back to the client side. I did 12 years at Diageo, which was just an absolute fabulous run. Took a huge leadership role as an EVP, Chief Client Officer at Publicis Sapient. And now I've pivoted to become an executive coach and a D&I trainer. And I got to tell you, when you talk about chasing your dreams and finding your purpose, that's where I am.
What are the most important leadership qualities for executives today?
Interesting, because they have changed and they will continue to change. The first one is vision. And lots of leaders lack vision, but I'm talking about being true visionary to see what's on the horizon 5 years from now and to be bold and brave enough to put the pieces in place and the resources in place today to go after them. They also possess, and I think the people that want to emulate them have to possess empathy, true empathy, and also cultural empathy, the ability to open themselves up and drive the process that allows other people to come into the party. Because when you look at those numbers, and whether you talk to McKinsey, Bain, BCG, they all tell you that these companies that have this wonderful hodgepodge of people are performing at plus 20, plus 25% in terms of performance dynamics and revenue, and in some cases net gains. So I think today's leader really has to do that. I think the other important part that they've got to be a little bit risky. They got to be a little bit willingness to put someone else in their seat. And that's a very interesting dynamic. Someone that doesn't look like them, someone that doesn't necessarily act like them.
I really appreciate that answer. Empathy has been a popular choice on Boss, but I haven't heard anyone say cultural empathy yet. And I love that.
And they come from a different era. They were trained differently. You think about it. Most of our C-suite leaders were not trained that, whether it's DE&I, whether it's gender relationship, all these kind of things that we're dealing with, they were not CEO issues. They were HR issues. They were issues that were handled somewhere else. And they weren't part of the training mechanism. Today, you can't get around that. You must have the ability to have understanding, training, empathy, and more importantly, experience in that. And that's why you're seeing all this boom in DE&I coaching and training, et cetera, because people realize the only way to drive performance and to be held accountable, because now there is no place to hide. Social media has really put that on the table. You cannot hide as a CEO anymore. You can't hide as a CMO. You can't hide as a senior leader. People will find you out and they will question you. They will question your company's focus. They will question your company's missions and values. So the game has changed. And I think that's really when you see this as these leaders either are going to want to do one or two things: get better trained or retire and move on. And then there's a new succession of individuals who lived a different life, who have come up in a different era, who've been trained differently, and will not be afraid to put a different set of lenses on their glasses as it relates to how they drive and run their companies from a talent perspective, from a performance perspective, but also maintaining the fact that they've got to drive commercialism and shareholder value.
The world needs more women, more diversity in tech roles, data roles, marketing roles, leadership roles, every role. The 2020 Global 500 list came out. According to Fortune, there are just 13 out of 500 women on that list. And there are no women of color who made the cut
anymore. List. It's a shame. I mean, on that Global 500 list, you're talking about less than 3%. It's like 2.6%. 13 out of 500. It's ridiculous, you know. And this is 2020, and we have many companies who have made it their mission to say, I'm gonna have X percent of my global workforce be, you know, VP and above, be women by, you know, X, but yet we're still seeing the hesitancy of putting women in those main leadership roles. I am proud, extremely proud for a couple of things. One, to be, have been a mentor and continue to be a mentor to the founder, Tiffany R. Warren, and the president, who has done just an unbelievable job of driving this conversation, particularly in the advertising space, which has now gone into marketing, media, tech, et cetera. And I remember when she came to myself and others, right, with her vision of AdColor, and it really started out as an award show to really, you know, make people aware. I'm extremely proud to have been an original founding sponsor and presenter, and that continues today with Via Diageo. I continue to have not only a strong relationship with Tiffany, but I also am extremely proud for the last 5 years to have been chairman of the board. And that chairmanship allows me to have a great oversight into how we can sustain what is, I believe, the best, if not the most important portal of DE&I across functions and across business. People want to help. Where people get stuck is they don't necessarily always roll up their sleeves and do the rigor. All right. So when people say to me, wow, I really want to hire, but I can't find the Ollie's of the world. That's BS. You know what? Give me the brief. I'll find 40 Ollie's. I'll find 40 Tiffany's. I'll find 40 Marks that are either in the pipeline or that are diamonds in the rough or already doing the work. You just need to roll up your sleeves and dig harder. What am I really, really good at? What is it that I really, really love? Like, what am I avid about? What is an avid passion? And how do I take my skills and transform those into something that I have avid passion for? Because that's where the pivot is. You know, if you're going to pivot, you might as well pivot to do something that, particularly in these times, that you're going to enjoy. The last thing I think is really important is doing what we're doing here. How do you network? How do you touch bases with people like you and I met at that wonderful event, and here we are now having this kind of conversation, this kind of network. I'm gonna make sure that I tell people about you. You're gonna tell people about me. We're gonna cross-pollinate the opportunities. Marc Strachan is ready for the lightning round.
What is the most important skill that leaders need for the future of work in one word?
Vision.
What do you want to be known for over the next 6 to 12 months?
A visionary, someone that drives performance and influence, and that is honest and upright. It has been the first time in my career, and one of the few times in my life as an African-American man, that I have really had to step back and make sure that my safety, my personal safety and that of my family was not only paramount, but more importantly, enacted in a way, shape, or form that I could control. Yeah. All right. I can't leave that to others anymore because the others don't necessarily have my interest at heart. And until that changes, I am weary of my government.
Yeah, that is powerful.
What I like is what you're doing is bring forth the people who aren't afraid to be authentic. Bring forth the people who are going to tell it like it is, good, bad, or indifferent. And bring forth the people that can inspire others to be the same. You know, reach back, bring somebody else along. Be a role model and not be afraid to challenge the system when the system needs challenging.
Thank you, Marc, for joining me on Boss, for saying yes.
Thank you for being persistent and who you are.